What is something you did that increased your quality of life so much that you wished you would have done it much sooner because it changed your life forever? Always dreamed about writing a novel. At 60, doing it. Quit a job I absolutely hated. Where I was before. Workplace culture was come in early. Work through breaks and lunch. Work late. Benefits were met and vacation time was capped at 3 weeks. No pension. Pay was okay though. Now, it's a 7-hour workday. Pension. Decent benefits. 5 weeks vacation and zero stress job. It's been 10 years. I still don't make as much. But the work-life balance blows that out of the water. Not to mention I won't be working until I'm 60. Stopped assuming that people's thoughts about me were at all similar to that extremely critical voice in my head. It's still somewhat of a struggle to stay positive. But, overall, being yourself and staying present when with others really reduces anxiety. Peaceful would be a good word to describe it. Regulating my alcohol intake. Paying attention in general to how my body reacts to what I introduce it to. Applying for a job I didn't think I was qualified for. It doubled my salary and let me move to a place I'd only ever dreamed of living in. Doing my research on nutrition and making myself a decent breakfast. If someone asks me to do something and it will take me 5 minutes or less to do it, I'll do it immediately. It doesn't sound like a lot, but I never realized how much stuff I put off until later and then promptly forgot about. Also, once you've done one 5-minute task, it's easier to just go and do the next. I became much more productive and saved myself a lot of time and effort at the same time. I gave up on finding a wife girlfriend and just started doing my own thing. Go to eat alone. Go on vacation alone. Go to the movies alone, and honestly I have never been happier. I agree. I didn't ever have a romantic experience until I was 25. Aged 21 to 23 or so were some pretty depressing times. Mostly because I just worked and stayed at my apartment. I tried online dating, and every so often a handful of weeks I could get a date, but they never went beyond just one. It was when I started realizing I needed to, have a life in order to be attractive to people, that I started really trying to make changes in my routine to attempt that. I started going to meetups and making friends with strangers, doing things on my own outside, and over time I became a more well-rounded person. And after I started being more proactive, I found that in itself was a pretty good reward, and that I didn't necessarily need a romantic connection to be happy. Then, of course, dating got a bit easier, and I found myself feeling more confident, and as a result, I started to be more successful. I hate the cliche, but it's true. You have to appreciate and enjoy being yourself before it's likely someone else will. Buying all the same socks. No more folding. No more matching. No more looking for missing sock brothers. Just throw them all in a drawer. Reach in, grab two and get your day started right. Not being afraid to admit when I'm wrong. For years, I was obsessed with being correct about everything. This semester, one of my professors said that it's okay if we are not experts in the material yet. From then on, I've actually been better at admitting when I do not know an answer or saying the wrong answer in class without cringing hating myself. I got a lot of houseplants to put all over my house. Makes my home environment look beautiful and feel homey, fresh, and just all around better. Getting a job I didn't hate. I'm so much happier now, even though I'm making 1-2 as much. Eating veggies. My mum rarely fed us veggies, and we had constant digestive issues. As soon as I moved out on my own I started eating veggies, and have rarely had an upset stomach since. It was literally daily agony eating nothing but meat and carbs. I put spinach and tomatoes on almost everything. If I liked onions, they'd go on as well. But I'm still cautious about their taste. Mom basically taught us to not like them, so they taste weird to me now. Chicken and pasta. Throw some spinach and tomatoes in the mix and it's amazing how much more they add to it. Using spinach instead of lettuce gives you a lot more nutrients. Admitting that I needed a therapist. As a teenager with strict parents, if I was caught saying anything against them, I was automatically grounded. So I couldn't let out my emotions, and I felt like a double agent in my own house. With a therapist, I could work through my problems without the risk of being in trouble. Preventative physio. I'm 31, in decent shape, and never had any serious injuries. However, my family has a history of back and knee problems, and my knees and shoulders have been a consistent issue. I used to teach snowboarding and gave it up cause my knees were always inflamed. Long haul flights became prohibitively painful cause of my shoulders and knees. It got bad enough that I struggled to play along board games, cause I'd usually have a totally cramped shoulder and inflamed knee from sitting still looking down too long. It built up so slowly though that I just gradually accepted it. Finally went to see someone when my shoulders were particularly stiff and painful. Turns out my feet rolled inward supination I think. Edit its pronunation. I had really inflexible hamstrings causing my hip to be massively rolled forwards, and I walk with my head jutted like an inch more forward than is healthy. Spent 102 hours there, 1 being assessed, 1 being taught corrective exercises, and 2 months later all my knee and shoulder problems have disappeared. I'm actually shocked at how much joint pain I just gradually accepted and forgotten was a problem. I wish I'd gone sooner. Once I have some more cash, I'm definitely getting back on a snowboard. I seriously missed it. Making decisions based on what I really want, not on what I think others want or expect of me. It was always so easy to put others' needs first, because it meant that I never had to take the trouble to figure out what I really wanted, or to negotiate with others to get it. Just go along with everyone else. That's easy and makes you likable, but it doesn't make you happy, because it means your needs are often not being met. The real turning point for me was the realization that wanting something does not instantly equate to a decision to go out and get it. Verbalizing a desire is not tantamount to forcing your will on others. For example, if someone asks you what you want to eat, instead of saying oh whatever you want, I don't mind, there's nothing wrong with stating your preference, saying that you're open to other ideas, and entering into a negotiation to find some common ground. People actually appreciate you being clear about what you want. It makes things easier for everyone. For bigger stuff, once you realize you want something, sit with it for a bit. Then ask yourself, how moral do I think my desire is? Can I proceed without damaging my integrity? What are the practical other ramifications for myself and others? Can you live with whatever decision you make? If you are missing vital information from others, ask them for it to help you decide. Most importantly, don't waste time wondering about whether you're allowed to want something. You do already. So that's that. Just acknowledge the desire, then set about deciding whether you are going to go out and get it. That way, even if you decide not to, you'll know what the desire is and why you're not fulfilling it, rather than shutting it down automatically at the source. I'm so much happier now. Too long didn't read I emigrated based entirely on what I thought others wanted, and realized that was not a healthy way to make choices. Trying to be friends with everyone to the point you have no true friends with anyone took me a long time, because I love to help people, but the people who use you abuse you, and the people who don't need you don't ever care to see you. It's still hard right now though. I don't have any close friends, but I somehow feel more comfortable than before. I still want to do something to help, but I decided I'm going to start recycling, go on walks to pick up trash, and concentrate more on myself for once. If I'm ever meant to have a best friend, they will find me, I guess. Sometimes it's hard not having someone to speak to, but I'll get over it eventually. Learning to always keep my keys in the same place. Please teach my GF this. I had a decayed wisdom tooth with an exposed nerve, and I lived with it for 10 years. When I didn't have dental or disposable income, my life changed the day I had it pulled. If there's something wrong with your teeth, find a way to get it taken care of. I spent a decade in pain whenever I drank something cold or chewed on the left side of my mouth. and I could have had it corrected much sooner if I'd had my act together. Taking fiber supplements. I now shit like clockwork. Twice a day, and even after a night of drinking. I have never had more than a 3 wipe to clean. I'll never go back to not taking them. The quality of my shits has just been absolutely magical. I wish I knew of this sooner. Tried for a month. You'll never want to stop. No more peanut butter in a shag carpet. No more mud streaks. No more wiping yourself raw. It's life changing. Going to bed early rocked my whole world. I learned that I actually am a morning person, and I'm most productive between 10 AM 1 PM. I started drinking at a young age mostly because I was shy and introverted, and it helped me come out of my shell. It was a way to be able to talk to people. It became a crutch. I've had some great times, but since I've stopped drinking at the late age of 64, I'm beginning to feel so much better and wonder how different and more fulfilling my life could have been if I'd just tackled my insecurities when I was younger rather than turning to alcohol. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe,